So Contemporary British Cinema is a second year module and it introduces students to current trends within UK film. It's a module which I inherited, though it's one I've tried to make my own through updating topics, films and the reading material that we study. So the COVID-19 pandemic meant that all the teaching had to be done online in 2020. And I therefore wanted to create a module where all the learning material, the recorded lectures, film screenings, books and journal articles, seminar activities and module assignments were available through one easy to navigate Blackboard site. Each week I'd post a message on Blackboard's announcements page outlining the week's topic and the various tasks students needed to complete. And then the students could go to the relevant folder in the weekly resources page on Blackboard where they'd find all the week's learning material in one place. The feedback from students said they really appreciated the fact that all information had been clearly laid out on Blackboard and in the announcements. The module discussion boards were perhaps the most successful change I made in 2020. So at the start of the year we didn't know whether students would have reliable internet access to run the online seminars in Blackboard Collaborate or Microsoft Teams. So I created these module discussion boards where students could post their responses to the weekly seminar tasks and questions in their own time. But these then became a really useful way for students to prepare for seminars and also to interact with each other. So like in a typical week, we'd have over 50 posts from a class of 30 students. I was also really pleased with the recorded lectures. They took a long time to create, but they look really good, and they also allow the students to follow the lecture at their own pace. I was pleasantly surprised with the way the students engaged with those module discussion boards. I was worried that they'd see them as extra work, but they became a really useful way for the students to prepare for assignments and for seminars. And they also allowed me to monitor student progress so I could provide feedback as they were going along. The one thing I'd advise about trying to improve a VLE is to make sure the learning material is really easy to find. So things like putting the lecture slides, the reading material and the other resources into separate folders in the weekly resources page on Blackboard, and organise these folders chronologically by teaching week. It's important for a module like Contemporary British Cinema to keep up to date with current trends in UK film. So each year I add new case study films, reading material and essay questions. This year I've added Steve McQueen's Lovers Rock to the week on Black and Asian British filmmakers, and I've also included some activities related to No Time to Die, the latest James Bond film. The film department's decided that while the COVID-19 pandemic is still ongoing, our lectures are going to remain online. So I continue using the recorded lectures, albeit with a few new updates. I'm also going to continue using those module discussion boards because I think they're a really great way for students to prepare for seminars and assignments and to receive feedback from me. I think it's too early to say what changes I'm thinking of implementing next year. Each year I ask the students what's worked for them and what could be improved, and I'll make those changes on the basis of that feedback, but the Blackboard site is constantly evolving. The one thing I'd say to students is to visit Blackboard sites regularly and do a little bit of work each time you visit. A little goes a long way. So when I was a student in the late 1990s, everything was done in person, and if you missed a lecture, that was it. You might get a few poorly scribbled notes from a friend, but you had no access to lecture slides, let alone recorded videos which you could rewatch. And all the required readings were held in physical books and journals which you had to hunt down in the library, and if a book was lost or on loan, you couldn't do the reading. Now everything is accessible from your home computer at any time and at any place, and that gives students more time to study, and it also means that they can engage with learning material at their own pace.